That's live.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Hey, this is Teir with the NSPSTV Paranormal Podcast, and it's freaking cold down here in Texas. Hey, the weirdest thing is when it gets cold down here, it'll go, come, go, come. But this, it's hanging around here, man, and it's kind of irritating me a little bit because my socks got wet today. And the worst thing, people hate are wet socks. You know what I'm saying? Because I just got off of work, man, and I had my Crocs on and jumped out of the car and hit a big puddle. So my socks got wet. So, but with that said, man, welcome to the show tonight. We are in upstate New York with I'm trying to figure out which one of the twins, if it's really twins on the show. Twin Teir's Supernatural Research Society out. Let me see if I get this name right, man, because I've been trying to figure this name out for a while. Is it Binghamton?
Binghamton.
Binghamton. Mr. Bingham founded the city.
Binghamton. Wow, dude.
Okay. It's all right.
That is, that name really stands out. But yeah, I got these guys on the show, man. So I'm curious to know what's going on in this town that these guys are living in. Anything that's going on upstate New York. And man, we were talking about Bigfoot earlier. So I had no clue there was a Bigfoot up there. I thought, they're maybe around the Kentucky. I thought that was the borderline where they would actually be, but who knows about these guys, But with that said, man, Twin Teir's Supernatural Paranormal Society. Hey, can we break that down to TTSRS?
Sure.
I'm just messing with you.
It's actually Twin Teir's Supernatural Research Society.
Interesting. Hey, guys, introduce yourselves.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jerry Smith. I'm one of the co-founders of the group.
I'm Angie Kinter, one of the mediums of the group.
I'm Megan Kinter, one of the mediums.
And I'm Wade. I am an investigator and co-founder of the group.
Come on. I was having problems with this mic yesterday, and I cannot hear anybody.
It's not perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear you anyway.
But I can't hear y'all.
You want a quick tip on how to solve that? Use the mic for the mic part and use the headphones on the other headphone part. That's what I used to do.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to do something here right quick. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Done with that. That's how that works. Is there an echo or anything? We're good.
Nope.
We're all good.
All right. Well, guys, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you guys coming on, man. Do a little talking about all things creepy up there in upstate New York. I'm going to ask you guys a bunch of questions. So feel free, if you got your drink, raise your hand. Pepsi. Oh, darn. No Budweisers tonight, huh?
Nope.
Nope.
Darn. I wish I would have had one. I was thinking about buying one tonight.
I have a whole 2 liter of Pepsi for myself. Does that count?
Yeah, that counts. you know, you're gonna get the same results drinking that Pepsi, drinking a beer. You're gonna get up and go pee maybe 20 minutes later.
He's got 2 liters, and he'll go through them all tonight.
Oh wow. Okay, hey, for all you guys that are listening to us tonight on the different platforms that we're on tonight, welcome to the show, guys. All you guys on Kick, Rumble, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, my personal Facebook page, and my podcast page. And all you guys that are over in the UK and in the great country of Japan, welcome to the show. You guys, if you watched me before, you know what I'm about. You know how I'm going to do it. So let's sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's have some fun. But with that enough said, guys, tell me a little bit about your team and what you do, how you do it, why you do it. I want to know everything.
You start.
You start.
Well, what do you want to know? What do you want to know first?
Well, how did you guys become to me? Why did you guys become a paranormal team? Was it something dramatic in your life that happened to you guys? Or
Well-
there was, I mean, because most of the time in these small towns, there are a lot of creepy things going on, and a lot of people don't know who to call when they see something strange in their backyard, or you know, or your
Well,
dog barking. I mean,
I can tell you between all of our experiences and counting our camera crew and the other two investigators that couldn't come tonight, we have over 150 years of experience.
wow, man,
I
still
have
got
25 years in all of my life studying it. Jerry has
25,
probably about
25 plus.
all of his life studying it.
Me and
Megan and Angie's daughter, in fact, the whole family's been psychics all their lives.
me and Angie grew up together. We've known each other since high school, and we've been doing it since we were young.
Teenagers.
Together.
He's one of the people that actually supported my abilities growing up.
One of the only ones that didn't think she was a complete weirdo. So everybody else was like, oh, you know. But yeah, we've known each other for a long time.
Didn't fit in a mold, so to speak, with anybody.
well. Hey, I fit into that mold myself, but I don't hang my head down on that. I kind
And
of
it
keep it up a little bit.
and it's kind of funny. Back when I first started this in about 2002,
Mhm.
Jerry had a very small team back then,
Yeah.
and we didn't even know each other. We didn't even know each other existed.
We didn't.
So I went on one path, and he went on another. And then a few years back, we decided why not.
But tell them how we met.
Yeah,
I was going to a medical appointment, a doctor's appointment. He was a cab driver on, it's his part-time job.
yeah.
And he picked me up and we started talking about it. And
Yeah.
ever since then, we've got together, we've been friends. And so that's one of the ways we.
And a big thing about the team is what I don't know, he knows. What
Yeah.
they don't know, what we don't know about stuff, they know. What they don't know, the other one knows. So there's nothing that we can't handle.
Yeah, we got different ways of doing things, but we combine them all into one group. So
Okay, well, man, I'm gonna love this one. I'm gonna love picking your brains and seeing what you guys think on certain things. That's what I love to do. So I hope you guys are ready for this.
And the topics that we cover we're not off limits. So you can ask us anything. We've seen it all. We've done it all.
yeah,
I think I've done everything but jumped out of a plane with a parachute in the investigation field. So
Interesting. Because that was my first. That was my first question. Who jumped out the plane first? No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Bunch of questions. We're gonna go from the simplest question down to the most scientific questions to religion questions. all things, ufology. We're going to dive into a lot of stuff tonight. From education, kids. It's one thing I do know about what we do is it open up many doors for many different people. So it's and everything's intertwined. It's like a tree, like a big oak tree. There's the roots is the base is so wide and it just grows and there's branches just everywhere. So that's what the paranormal field is really about. And I believe it or not, guys, we're all at each branch is looking for one thing in specific. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy. But let's get this party started. First question, I want to pick on the mediums for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, now tell me a little bit about your gifts and how you eventually become to handle them as you got older.
Well, for me, it's been since a little kid. I would point out to my mom. I just remember this because my mom would tell me every night, "Oh, it's just your imagination," which I didn't believe her. I always looked like in the hallway there was a set of eyes looking at me at night. She would tell me not to worry about it, just go to sleep, and they periodically just watch me through the night. As a little kid, I was probably about maybe 4 or 5 when I started seeing that. Obviously, scares little kids. But as I got older, things I would see, I'd point out, and she'd be like, "There's nothing there." So I started as I got older, I started putting like 2 and 2 together. Maybe there's something different about me. And as I grew into a teenager, I was able to start doing my own research and figure myself out a little more. A lot of growing pains with that, obviously. Learning how to, control what is trying to talk with you or connect with you without feeling like with me, sometimes if it's something negative, I'll get a headache, like a pain in my head, so to speak, or I might feel sick to my stomach, kind of thing, for an example. And sometimes they would become very overwhelming. So over time, I've had to learn to figure out how to hold that in and kind of cope with it. What do you think, Meg?
Mine it started when I was younger also, but more when I got older and kind of more interested in it. I know the first time that I had someone try to give me a message, I thought I was crazy. And I called my sister up and I'm like, what is wrong with me? But there was nothing wrong. What I can do is spirits will come to me in my third eye. I can't necessarily see them. I feel them and I hear them, things like that. They give me messages to give to other people.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes we'll have dreams. Like I said, depending on how they want to show themselves. That's the other thing. Some people don't understand about mediums. It depends on, like, you could have a couple of us in an investigation. One of us might pick up on one spirit, and then another person might pick up on a total different one. So it depends on the spirit and who they're drawn to, I think. That's my theory anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so you guys see spirits and communicate and socialize. Every now and then you guys might have cookies and milk together and they pretty much tell you what they want you to hear, correct?
It's a unique way of
Way of putting it, but yeah.
Okay, well, guys, is it sometimes hard for you when you're driving by location? Because spirits, sometimes spirits, when you're driving and the spirit is, you're looking at the spirit and he's noting what whoever they are noticing you looking at them, so they got that eye contact. Does that put that whole creepy vibe into perspective? Like, I really got this. Man, I mean, it is really creepy that I'm going through this. How do you guys handle a situation like that?
You can go ahead first if you
I
want.
mean, if a spirit wants your attention, it's going to find a way to get your attention and keep your attention. But as you get like deeper into your gift, I would say you can't ignore it, but you can push through it if you're not in a situation where you can be all into it, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
You can tell, like, I've had several of them when I've been places trying to send a message, and I'll tell them not right now, because they get almost nagging sounding sometimes when they really have something to tell you.
Interesting. Uh, is this thing? Did it get a little bit more? Did your kids get a little bit more active once your body start to change and you become, into womanhood? Did that come a little bit more? How did that process work out for you guys?
I think as we aged, it just metamorphosized into what we are now. As a kid, I almost think sometimes as children they see clearer than we do as adults.
Mhm.
But as like if we're still actively using that third eye and keeping that third eye open, it'll just continue through our teenage years. Um, Jerry can attest to things that we did as teenagers
Yes.
that would just
Yeah, I remember. I do remember.
floor him sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is this
Gary also had one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a
It-
little bit of
okay? Now, this gift that you guys have, is it hereditary? Is it something that everybody has? Your
Yeah.
kids,
So,
grandmother, great grandmother?
it's interesting because as I was growing up, everyone, religious people on both sides of the family, some were like, eh, and then some would believe. But as I was getting older, my paternal grandmother, she one day I was hanging out with her. We would go up there for Sunday dinners, and I was hanging out with her, and she comes out, and I didn't realize what it was because I was young. Years down, she never told me what kind of bracelet this was, but years down the road, I got looking at it, and I'm looking at my chakra bracelet that I had, and it was actual polished stones that were an actual antique chakra bracelet. So my grandmother was actually on my dad's side into the spirituality stuff as well. And on my mother's side, everybody seems to be a sensitive as well in some form or another. Especially, I want to say my grandmother, or our grandmother, I should say, rather. Both grandmothers seem to be pretty attuned to the supernatural, so to speak.
You guys have kids?
Yes. My daughter is a part of this group. She's 17. She's had abilities all of her life as well. I just had prepared her slowly but surely so she wouldn't be as scared growing up. So she had myself and my sister Megan here as a mentor so that she wouldn't be quite as frightened by these spiritual spirits or entities, however you want to put it, coming by to see her.
Okay.
And we've been in plenty of haunted homes that we've lived in over time.
Oh yes.
Interesting. Now, I have a question that I want to, what you guys can answer for me. Now, since you're the guys that actually talk, see, communicate, what is your concept what is your thinking of ghosts and the afterlife?
Well, spiritually, like my beliefs, I come to the conclusion, obviously I grew up, going to church, believing in God. However, over time and seeing all these phenomenons, or however you want to call it, I knew that there was some more afterlife than just going to heaven, so to speak. I do believe, and people can think I'm crazy, but my thoughts are that a lot of our religions, there's some similarities to them. And I feel like they kind of all broke off, like maybe in ancient times, so to speak. And they were actually one type of religion at one time. I feel that, like, when we have those, excuse me, I'm sorry, I dropped my water. Sometimes when we have those deja vu moments, I almost think like you're tapping into, oh my gosh, this was me. I maybe knew that person in another life. I feel like we reincarnate or have that option too. I do believe there's a heaven though as well that we ultimately end up going to. So I consider myself like a spiritualist.
Okay. Uh, deja vu. We had a conversation about deja vu last night on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think deja vu is a part of the paranormal phenomenon that everybody complains? Because I know everybody has experienced deja vu at one point. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you always do a double take and you always think that you saw that cat. So you're like, hey, did y'all see that cat or whatever it is? And or is it just something that your mind, you know, sometimes play tricks on you? What do you guys think?
No crossover.
Well, I'll tell you a one moment that happened to me. I was getting a call from someone that I was going to have a job interview with. Um, the first hello and a couple sentences, like I automatically got a picture of what this person looked like in my third eye, which kind of floored me because I hadn't really went through that before.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met the gentleman, and he did look similar to what I saw. Like it was a flash memory. Just was in older time clothes. So that's the type of deja vu I've gotten.
Oh wow, interesting.
So I
Guys,
make the connection of knowing that person possibly in another lifetime.
that is weird, guys. Let's
It
go
is.
back to the witch trial. If you guys, we're gonna take a step back in history.
Okay.
If you guys were hanging out with Mary Sibley and all those individuals back there in that time, what the gift that you guys now, would you guys be considered a witch?
Back in those times, I believe they probably would have.
Oh, yeah.
They would have said that either
Oh, yeah.
we were witches or we were a product of Satan, probably.
Yep.
Even growing up with me growing up to now, you've seen more of an acceptance of people with abilities and more acceptance of research in this paranormal area.
Interesting.
Um,
Because, yeah, that is weird. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was talking to a friend of mine who is a white witch, and she's helped me on a couple investigations. She's a white witch, and she deals with the nature. Uh, and it's so weird because we always had that, this conversation about, the witch trials and so on and so on, and how it seems like it, even in back in those days, like you were saying, you would be considered a witch, but it seems like the branch has broken off because witches, whether you're a dark witch, white witch, green witch, blue witch, we've always seen green witch on the Wizard of Oz, but it seemed like they had broke off from being certain things and socializing with people such as yourself. Do you believe that to be true?
Like we broke off of.
Okay, like you're saying.
I feel like we're probably all connected somehow.
Yeah, you too.
It depends on how far you go with the whole.
Exactly. I mean, that rabbit hole just it can go down pretty deep.
Yeah.
So with that being said, is some? I mean, could you actually put yourself in that category as being a witch, since you are gifted? Even though witches are a little bit different, it's hard to explain, but the conversation gets kind of deep about that, and yeah, it gets crazy. We can talk for hours about, things that she's done, things that she's seen, and so on and so on. But I would love to have you guys on that conversation. Maybe I need to do that. Have a podcast uh, where mediums and witches, they all get together and believe it, and just see how much you guys are actually more connected than what you actually think.
I think we're probably connected somehow. But I think that we also have a category of natural witches that are just run in there naturally in someone's family history.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there are witches that don't have to be
Descent.
mediums.
But the word witch comes from somebody that studies witchcraft, which is a religion, not
Yeah.
an actual ability.
Well, it is a religion.
Angie's and Megan's ability is an ability of
Yeah.
the mind of the universe, of whatever God, whatever you want to call it. The witch part comes from, the witchcraft, the craft of
Yeah,
that
craft of
religion,
religion.
pagan, Wiccan, whatever you want to call it.
I also think some of us that are empaths of some sort
Yeah.
too, they get into the witchcraft because they feel closely tied to it.
Yeah.
And tied to nature. A lot
Yeah.
of people are tied to nature when they go into witchcraft.
A lot of us empaths are very tied to nature as well. I know that I feel better when I'm outside and in nature.
Me too.
Yeah, it's like a recharge almost.
Right? And I always tell people is, because some people don't like their gifts. They're like, man, I just wish I can just take this and just throw it in the garbage can. And I'm like, damn, I hope it's a recycle bin, because I would like to recycle it and give it to me. You know what I'm saying? Because
Well,
I think what you guys have is such an unbelievable gift. And I personally, I think that you have that gift to help people out.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're out to do, is just help people.
I think it's really figuring out what you want to do with it. You know what I mean?
Sometimes people choose not to do anything with it. I'd rather put it to work and help others.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Me too.
So hey, much love to you guys, man, because you guys got something that I wish. And the craziest thing is, everybody says that everybody has that trait to be a medium, a clairvoyant, a psychic. Everybody has that capability of being something unique. And I mean, we are really unique because we're human, but have that one little half of a gene that makes you really, really special is something else. Have you guys ever seen that movie Lucy?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me. Unbelievable, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
What if? I mean, yeah, if I had that kind of power, all mine, yeah, I would definitely. That would be something else. But guys, Thank you for the conversation. I'll come back to you guys in a minute. I want to speak to the gentleman now. Guys, we're going to head west. We're going to head over to Hollywood, California, the place where all this paranormal bad BS started. How do you guys feel about Hollywood and how they portray paranormal investigators? Zach Baggins,
I never thought
uh,
about it, to be honest with you.
all the other people that have did some horrific things on TV shows for likes, ratings, and so on and so on. How do you guys feel about the way that they portray paranormal investigators? Do you think it's right or wrong?
Well, some of them do a good job, but some of them I think go way too overboard. I think it's pure fiction sometimes. I think they've, kind of made it like that because that's what they want to give people what they want. People want to be scared. You know what I'm saying? And that's my opinion.
Ratings.
I feel like
Yeah, ratings too.
well, that too, but if you think about it, they have to they have to be able to draw the audience's attention somehow to a point. I think a happy balance of it is a good thing to keep people engaged in your show for sure. And
but
I think we all have like a different flair to us in each group, that we bring different talents.
Yeah,
all of us.
I mean, I agree with that too, but it's a lot of it's because it's for show sometimes.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
a lot of that stuff is for show. I mean, we know the difference because we're not at that level yet.
Yeah.
We're not there, and we may never get to that level, but
I've almost been there.
I know you have.
Okay, now, would it be a good thing or a bad thing if you did make it to that level? Would you want to accept that notoriety, that fame, and with fame comes great responsibility, man. I mean, you've got to.
I agree with that.
Well, we kind of do. We have a small little show and a podcast on our YouTube. We're trying to grow it more. We're trying to. The problem with the television stuff is they don't show the actual things that are the way they are.
That's what I was trying to say.
They show a nutshell of a problem because they know the audience wants that part of the problem.
Yeah.
And they need to make money. They need to have a show. They need to stay in business. It's like you with your show here. You need the show in business. So you do something different and exciting to get the people to come to listen. You had, us up today. You had somebody else yesterday. And that's going to get your audience. The same thing with them. But I believe if they showed what we do is show the stuff that's there.
Yeah.
When we're in a cemetery, we're not yelling and screaming and getting scared. No. We're showing you something that's really there. Something that's really happening to us that we did not rehearse.
Exactly.
I think a lot of it is rehearsing. I remember going to one where they stopped filming and they redid the scene 6 times so it looked better on camera and sounded better for the camera. When if they had left it alone, it would have been natural, it would have been at the moment, and it would have been a whole bigger deal than the way they made it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. See, but what get me is about Hollywood guys is sometimes you just gotta say the word. Sometimes you just gotta say what the F and just run with it, just run with it, see what people think, let's go real with it. Let's not fake anything. Let's go real and see how the audience really reacts.
Exactly.
Because at that point, it's for educational purposes.
That's what they did with the Blair Witch Project.
Right? I mean, it's about educational purposes. It's not, it's not about clicks, likes, and all that. It's about let's do it the right way and let's educate everybody
Everybody.
go there and see what's going, and then we'll let them decide if it's okay. I'd rather have you be upfront with me and let me know what I'm up against than BS me and tell me some BS. I mean, I don't want to BS.
Wow.
Be up.
Exactly.
A lot of times with these shows, you have to cater to 1 million people at once
Yeah.
at a certain
but
time. They could be either watching wrestling, they could be watching you, or they could be watching a movie. You want them to watch you.
You.
All of those 1 million people, eyes on your channel, eyes on your stuff. And that's when it becomes the competitive stuff because it's become a competitive field.
Yeah.
It's just like professional wrestling. I want everybody to stare at the women, so we make a women's show on this day. I want everybody to jump up and down for the big Andre the Giant at the time. So that's what they gave everybody, an Andre the Giant every week on TV. Like none of the other wrestlers mattered. Then they gave them Hulk Hogan all our lives, when really all we wanted to see is the Honky Tonk Man and the Ultimate Warrior. But in a way, that's how I started. We watched these TV shows and learned and tried what they did. And if it didn't work, we didn't do it. So in a way, like Ghost Hunters, they were pioneers for people that needed to do it. They were, and before that, you mentioned Hollywood and all this. National Geographic had an episode every Halloween. It would run between September and January, and it was about werewolves or vampires and ghosts and all of this stuff that people thought was taboo. We didn't discuss it. We didn't talk about it. It was scary. And that stuff turned into what the Ghost Hunters were and the other shows. I can't remember what other shows were, but they were mildly done once in a while on the Discovery Channel.
Penn State Research Society.
Yep, Penn State.
The Warrens.
Okay, but
they were one of the pioneers that paved the way for us.
Yeah,
the
yes,
but
Warrens.
TV, they weren't
Hans
on TV that much.
And yes,
Hans Holzer.
Yeah,
Hans Holster and the Warrens are the ones who paved
there's
the
another
way.
guy.
Grandfather, apparently.
The other one that collects all the haunted objects. He was a huge.
John Zaffis.
Yes, he was a huge one.
He's
And there was
the
another
Warrens.
psychic.
Chip Coffey.
Yeah, Chip Coffey.
And
But these people also.
Yeah. But guys, a lot of people, all those names that you mentioned, there's one name that nobody talks about, and he invented so much devices out there where you can speak to loved ones that are gone, and he actually,
Nikola Tesla.
exactly.
Yep.
A lot of people don't think about him in the community.
In my eyes, Edison and Nikola Tesla. Edison was a lot on the tape recording, or what we call tape recording today. Nikola Tesla, Edison, the other
experiments with
the other guy that made anybody that made the electric light bulb, or recording software. The reason they don't do it is because they classified them in another science. They classified them in electricity. They classified them in electronics.
Yeah.
They classified them in technology, where they should be classified as right in the middle, the borderline between it. Because Nikola Tesla was one of the first people to discover voices on his electronics.
No, what is it called?
And he didn't understand what it was.
What's that record player? Oh my God.
Xylophone or xylophone, whatever he made.
That.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
He had another name for it. But that was the technology that people would record stuff and play their voices back and be like, I'm the only one speaking into this big, huge trumpet looking thing. Why is it? And you had to stick your head right into the thing. Why is it that I hear 4 to 5 other voices?
Yeah.
That started a whole nother field. But like you said earlier, the religious part, you're working with the devil part, the business part, people that want a light bulb made don't want to hear about you talking about spirits. They want to know that you're going to make a light bulb and give me what I want, or I'm going to go to somebody else. I'm going to go to Thomas Edison, who can do it. When Nikola Tesla is the one that invented it. He worked for Edison, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Westinghouse, George Westinghouse is another one. They sat right there and recorded software. What happened? The RCA company in New York took it and said, oh, we're going to use that for record playing.
Yeah.
Originally, they recorded the voices on those records. They probably still have them somewhere, or they destroyed them.
Who knows?
But that was the technology of finding EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, before we had the tape recorders and stuff we do today. That's why I still use tape recorders. That's why I use cameras. That's why we use anything that records sound can be used to capture something else.
Yep.
I totally agree with you that. I mean, just think where we would be if none of whatever these guys invented. Just think how, and to me, I'm all with it. Just think how basic paranormal investigating would be. You know,
somebody would have invented it at one time, and this is the part. This is the part I think the paranormal community is missing. They're missing the history behind why they're even in their field.
Yeah, exactly.
They're missing the fact that the psychics are in the field because two girls decided to tap their toes and think they were crazy at a party one time and almost got themselves hung. They missed the fact that Westinghouse and Edison and Tesla recorded voices on a device accidentally, and that's how we got the EVPs. The camera, they took pictures and saw these white images that looked like people standing in the photographs when they developed them. They developed them correctly. It didn't happen again. They captured ghost photos. The famous lady of something castle walking down the stairs, it's a ghost right there in the photo. That was for a magazine, because they would send you a magazine of the house you were going to buy with pictures, and there's a ghost standing on the steps. We don't hear about that photo anymore at all. No. It used to be on every Halloween. That photo would be there. The whole story would be right in front of us. Now, instead, they got people running around the building, screaming and yelling like children because they're scared of something that's upstairs.
That's where I was getting at before.
But that photo is legendary. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that photo.
I don't even think people know it exists anymore. I really don't even think they know it exists.
Okay. It's out there somewhere. Somebody has it.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably sitting in that vault over there in where what are those the Catholic Church is. It's probably sitting in that vault over there. Never know. Got it. All right. So how many of you guys have kids?
I do.
I'm the only one who doesn't.
Okay, can I get the ages of all the kids?
Mine is 17.
Okay.
Mine are 5 and 6.
Mine's 16.
Okay, now let's take with the 16 and 17-year-old. These guys are in high school, right?
Yep.
Sophomores, juniors?
She's a senior this year.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's play a little game here. You moved down to Texas, and, you know, you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and the school district, certain school districts have decided to make parapsychology as an elective.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be okay with you guys if your kids came home with that sheet and say, hey, Mom, can you sign off on this? I think I want to be a part of this. Would you guys be up to such a thing?
Parapsychology? Well, if it was something that she absolutely wanted to do in school, sure.
It was taught right.
Yeah, if it's taught right. That is the truth of it.
But see, that's the big question is, they can teach it, but without actually having field investigations, are they really learning anything? Because you can preach, you can educate, you can talk all day, but if you don't have that field investigate, I mean, if you don't get out into the field and actually see and perform, will it actually help you in the long run?
you've got to be able to have the experiences out in the field to actually, it's like anything, any trade you learn, like hands-on learning is your best bet. So, I mean, they can go into any case study and go over it and pick it apart, but until they actually experience the phenomenon, they're not going to really grasp it completely.
And the way schools are today, I don't think if they can't even teach math and get a kid interested in math or science, how are they going to get a kid interested in looking in there? Oh, there's something in the room right there that we can't all see. And we're going to communicate with it today. And then we're going to go back to the class and study it. They can't even get their attention for an English lesson that I don't know how kids fail English if that's the language they speak. The whole entire education system needs to be revamped. Now, studies like this, like parapsychology and religion and stuff, yeah, as well as learning how to run a checkbook and a credit card, yeah. The whole entire education system needs stuff like that instead of I don't need geometry and algebra. I don't need to know how to add triangles to circles to make imaginary numbers. I need real stuff that's happening in life.
Exactly.
That is real life.
Depends.
I have never had to use a triangle added to a square yet.
Because you've never done construction.
Not like that. Where do you add a triangle to construction to make up a mysterious letter with a number? You take a beam, hammer it into a board, and you put it on the wall of the house.
Yes, you do.
Times are different now. Back in our days, that's what it was all about. We use this instead of using a ruler or whatever that the people are using.
Constantly doing this.
Yeah, things were different. Things a little bit more tech, just a little bit more tech savvy than now than it was 30, 40 years ago when we were doing that. But I can honestly say the buildings that we built back then are still up today compared to the buildings you guys are building now.
Yep.
But
when you go into a lumber yard and you can't find a piece of lumber, it's straight and it's more bent than the piece of metal can be bent in a welding shop, then we got problems.
Oh, I love this guy. Hey, everything that he's saying is factual. And I like that. He's actually hitting that. He got his hammer and he's nailing it every single time we have a conversation or we talk about something. So, here in Texas, it's a good idea. It's on a trial basis. And believe it or not, guys, parapsychology is actually not. I think it's only a couple of colleges or universities that actually teach it. I know the University of Texas has one, and I think the University of I want to say Indiana. One of those Big Ten schools actually are teaching it also. I'm not quite sure, but I know UT has one. But I think that having a kid involved in something like that, I think that would be great. I think if we can find some way to get the OJT aspect of it, if you guys don't know what OJT is, on the job training aspect of it, I think this can actually take, the paranormal. I think the kids can take that into the next generation of paranormal investigating. You know what I'm saying? If they stick to it and, and just be mindful of some of the things that these kids are looking at, because they are headed down a dark path. Like I always tell people, guys, the Nikola Teslas, everybody that had did some kind of, paranormal investigating, or they took part in some kind of paranormal investigations back in the 20s, 1900s, or however so far back. These guys are setting the foundation for us. The foundation is laid because all these guys that partake into what we love to do today. You know what I'm saying? So as we go on and the next generation of paranormal investigators are coming up, so we're talking about your 16-year-old, your 17-year-old, their families are already intertwined in this because you guys are doing it, correct?
Yep.
But the only problem is, guys, is these kids today, they're not seeing it our way. They are seeing it the Zach Baggins way. They are seeing it the YouTubers way. They are seeing it so many. I don't know if you guys know Franco TV. I don't know if you guys watch them. Uh, there's another YouTuber out there. There are so many things that these guys can look at. It's like, hey man, I like the way this guy is investigating. I think I'm gonna follow him instead of following mom and dad. And their way is not always fun. They don't get the results like this guy here is getting. So there goes that conflict of interest right there. It's going to cause a little conflict between son and the parent because the parents are doing it the right way, and YouTube is doing it the crazy way. So
it's
the
a
question,
lot of education.
yeah. So how do we keep these kids on the straight and narrow? That
We
it's
don't.
not going
It's
to
not
be
easy.
Why do our kids have to be straight and narrow as long as they're behaving and not doing stupid stuff in the world? And what was straight and narrow for us
It's a little
doesn't
different
exist
now.
in the world anymore.
Doesn't exist or apply anymore.
I mean, we don't have to have our kids in by the time the lights go out. Why can't they sit on the porch in the dark and stare at the stars?
Or hey, I'd rather have them stare at the stars than be on that damn video game all damn night.
Exactly.
Yeah, that too.
Well, see, even they have changed. The video games today immerse them so they don't see anything other than what they want in front of them. And then the video game caters to them because, back in my day, Dungeons and Dragons was the only game that you could do whatever you wanted in. The rest of them planned it all out for you, and it was made to lose. Mario tortured you unless you beat all the stuff.
Yeah.
Zelda didn't care if you lived or died.
You
Road Rash would on purposely knock you off your bike and splatter you down the road. And we won't even go into Twisted Metal on the PlayStation.
Oh,
Today's
God.
games, I can run all over the place. I can shoot whatever I want. And guess what? The game doesn't end because I just come up in the middle of the land and
Grand
do what
Theft Auto San Andreas. That's my favorite one.
Well, that one is the first one that you could do whatever you wanted in. And even then you got your behind kicked for doing something stupid.
Yeah,
now
you're
in
right.
Halo and this other stuff they got out there that my friend tried getting me into, you run around and they beat you and then you just wait for them right there to go after them again. And I keep asking them, have you won? Have you beat the level? No, there's multiple levels and I do it. I can go over here or go over there.
I never played with D&D when I was a
No kid
I
has
was
gone
outside.
No kid has gone out.
Oh boy.
No kid has gone out on the playground and said, "Oh, it's raining. How can I not be rained on so I can play on this playground? Let's go under the
When
playground."
I was a kid, you walk outside and you do stuff outside, not be on it. Well, I want to play
Oh my God.
D&D. No, I went outside and lived my life and played like a
What do you think we did outside? We took swords and axes and reenacted what we played in D&D.
Okay, boys. That's why they're separated.
That's why baseball bats are metal. So when you bang them together, they sound like a sword tinging together.
No, that's why they use wooden bats.
Well, no,
my
they
God.
break over your body, and then you don't got a bat anymore to hit each other with.
Okay.
Do you want to break your toys, or do you want toys you can play with
All
tomorrow?
right, Wade.
Oh,
I set you over there so you can nudge him, and I'll nudge this
oh
one.
my God. Hey,
How many kids have had their Skeletor arms ripped off, and then they come
I'm
coming back
crying over
and
here.
Skeletor went around paralyzed for the rest of his life? That's what taught us We didn't want our arms ripped off by the good guys, so us bad guys ripped their arms
we're
off
ripping
first.
Barbies off. Arms and legs of Barbies instead of
And then we burned the Barbies upside down for the crimes they committed against Ken.
All right, boys.
All right, that's enough.
We're off topic, kids.
Way off. It was funny.
You see that bookshelf over there? The one all the way down to the bottom has D&D books, folks. Play Dungeons and Dragons. The old stuff, not the new
Can we
stuff.
go back to the paranormal, please?
Yeah, let's go back to paranormal.
Oh my god, dude! Hey,
They
do
get
y'all
the
guys
tangents.
do
don't
that? Oh my god, that is so funny. Well, you know what, guys? We need to handle this situation. As funny as that was, but we need to sit back and think about what's going to happen to the next generation of paranormal investigators if we don't control the situation now.
Exactly.
I think they have it easier.
Well, they might have it. You know what? And I'm going to be honest with you. They lack so much. And I'm not
No,
saying
I think they have it. I think they have it easier. They have all the equipment they need.
Let him
They
talk.
don't have to investigate the equipment. They don't have to think about what's right and wrong to use. They have it shown to them right there in front of them.
You know
They
what?
don't.
You can have all that and plus 10. But if they don't have the respect that
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
takes
exactly.
to do this, then they're going to be in the world of hurt. Now they're going to be in the world of hurt and they have the potential to get hurt. So why not just solve this problem now? Educate these kids, show them how respect should be, because everybody's been to a Walmart where a kid don't get what he wants, and next thing you know, he's screaming at grandma or yelling or having a tantrum. You
Yeah.
know, I'm sorry, dude. If my kids did that, we're going 2 hours over, and I'm going to straighten that out real quick.
Well, you bring up a wonderful point, because when I got into this field, I got in it to help people. I got in
too.
it first.
We all did.
First, I got in it to prove this stuff exists. And I was going to make science say it exists, and that's the way it is. Until I found out people honestly needed help. The generation that's coming into the paranormal field today, I won't say any names when I say this, not only don't help the clients, they also compete with themselves to become which one's better than the other one.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they don't care about anybody else who's in this field helping them become better.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's wrong with this field, is we have people that
Respect,
want,
like you said.
they want power and they want to be the best instead of being good at what you do and always getting the business. You can be the best plumber in the world because you get a $5,000 every job,
Yeah.
and you only get 2 jobs a month, or you can be the good plumber who has a job every single day. Might not have a lot of money, but you're working every day. I'd rather be the one that has a case every day than the best, hugest, biggest case in once a month.
So going back to how we can help the new generation is what I've been doing with my daughter is we're starting to teach her more of the ways of like the equipment that we've used.
Me and you.
Yeah. And especially with Jerry. Jerry's been very instrumental in helping her with a lot of the equipment part of it. Myself and my sister help her as far as the medium aspect of it. It's all about educating and teaching them that, yes, it's a fascinating field, first of all, and we want to help people. But it also can be very dangerous. And
Yes.
I've told her I've tried to get her prepared since she was really little. So it's been little things to try to make her not afraid. But now that she's older, I've been telling her that this field can be dangerous. You can get really hurt from this if you aren't careful about what you're doing.
Yep. I've told her too.
You know,
Yes,
it's
it can be dangerous. So, is there any hope? There's hope for your daughter. there's hope for his son or daughter, but is there hope for the other 20 million kids that are out here that are seeing what's going on? And, is there hope for them?
If they take it
I think so.
serious.
I think so. If they're seeing shows that
Yeah.
are genuine, like one that I can say off the top of the head that I've watched,
Dead Files.
Dead Files.
Yeah.
They're very genuine about what they do. Yes, there is a little bit of hype, but not the overkill of it to
Kindred
make
Spirits.
it.
Kindred Spirits is another one.
But I like the
Penn
way
State
they
was
do
one.
it because they go into the history of it and they really
Ghost
they
hunters in
dig
the
deep
beginning.
down to find out where this phenomena is coming from, which I find that to be like the best connection ever, with bringing the paranormal and the history into it to try to figure out what spirit it is that could be causing these issues.
And that's what I think people need to teach any new
History is-
investigator, no
history
matter
is-
how old they are,
History's an important part of it too.
is what the facts of this stuff is. Like, don't go in there and say, oh, the place is haunted by a spirit.
No.
If there's a demon in that house and that kid wants to go in there and the Scooby-Doo phenomenon, as I call it, let's go find the bad guy. No, wait a minute. You're going into a house you know nothing about. It could be a demon, it could be a ghost, and there's a 50-50 chance something's going to happen to you. We need to be honest with the next generation and, talk about this stuff. Talk about how you get rid of the negative energy or how you prepare yourself to face it. I've been on many cases where and Jerry has, and they have as well, where you are face to face with something that can do whatever it wants to you. It's not like you encounter a bear at a camping trip and the bear only has 10 things it can do to you. This thing could just take over your body and you'll never be seen again. Send you to another dimension for all we know. And they don't prepare the kids for that. They don't prepare the new generation who want to be investigators. I've had a lot of people in my line and in my years of investigating. Oh, I want to be an investigator. I want to be an investigator. The minute a chair floats in the air and flies at them, they're the first one out the door. A chair just floated and flew across the room. That's nothing, dude. Wait till you see something come out of the wall and slam you into the wall.
Yeah. Absolutely right on that.
There's no way to prepare somebody for that.
No,
what do you do?
No, I totally
law
agree.
enforcement prepares. Firemen and law enforcement officers are prepared for whatever they're going to get, and they still have stuff done. They still get hurt, and that's a definite structure of preparedness.
Yes.
The military prepares you for everything that'll happen.
Yes.
Instead of boot camp spraying pepper spray in your eyes and poisoning you. Yes, they do.
Oh, they do.
The Marines will spray that stuff in your eyes and you stand there and cry like a little baby until you get it out of your eyes yourself. They will prepare you for anything that's going to happen on that battlefield. And there's still people that get hurt on the battlefield.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we can prepare people and tell everyone, these things can happen, but until it happens to you, you don't really know what it's going to feel like.
Exactly.
Sometimes you feel like you're being pushed, or I've had my hair, like my sister can say the same thing. We've had our hair played with, and it's like you feel like these fingers are going like this with your hair, different things like that. So we've had mild to not so great things happen, and you just have to be prepared that anything's possible.
I've been thrown down. I've been scratched in the eye. All sorts of crap. And
I think
nothing prepared.
The one thing, guys, all that sounds good. It sounds excellent. But the one problem that we all have is social media. Social media rules everything.
No.
Yeah.
Social media, how often do we get on social media? Every day.
Never.
It's a minute. I'm on the toilet, and guess what I'm on? TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, Kick. I'm on all these social media runs the world, and kids are looking at this. So, believe it or not, guys, it's an uphill battle for us.
It is.
Yeah.
And And if we're not constantly fighting, if we're not constantly educating, teaching, and doing all the things that we need to do to make sure this never happens, because if we fail as the older community, and we're gonna fail. And guess who these kids, these paranormal investigators, guess who they're gonna blame? They're gonna blame us.
Mhm.
Yep.
And we're not even talking about 3 generations down the line. If these kids here are gonna take the knowledge that they get off of YouTube and take it into the next generation, who's to say what those guys are gonna teach? I mean, can you imagine?
No.
Yeah, but one thing about our field
Kinda
is it
scary.
doesn't.
Scary.
The one thing about our field that I'm thankful for is it's not that much of a change. We're not into
No.
rocket science. We're not into biology. We're not into brain surgery.
No, I
We're
mean,
in a field where whatever I did when I started, I can still show my kid and say, "This is what Dad did. Now you're going to do it too,
Yep.
and you'll
you
get the
know,
same."
and that is fine. But what is a what is the big goal for a paranormal investigator? What is the ultimate goal for everybody?
For all of us to get qualitative evidence to prove that this truly exists,
Right.
because
So
there's many skeptics still
Well,
out there.
to
not
help the
only
client as
We want to
well.
help them as well, but ultimately that's what we look for.
Yeah.
exactly, and with all that evidence that we collected, if we collect so much evidence, we can actually present that to the scientific community, because right now they're thinking we're cracked, because that's the reason we're not able to sit at the scientific table. There are so many people there except for us. And it seems like as much evidence we bring, we are getting not. They're telling us, you're not invited to the table. Go back to the door and wait your turn. Come back with some positive evidence, and we will review it, and we will decide if we can pull this chair up and welcome you to the scientific table, and be a part of the scientific community.
Hmm.
Well, I have to disagree with that on one thing. I believe that the scientific community, and I'm going to use you for an example. You
Okay.
have an orange shirt on. You could walk in the room and say, they could say you're supposed to wear a red shirt today. You could say I wore an orange shirt, and say orange is a part of red. It's in the spectrum of the 23 colors of orange and red. And they would sit there and argue with you because it's not as red as a street light. If I walk into a room and say I have a photographic picture of a ghost, they will find something wrong with it because they have become
Yep.
that ignorant. They have become specified in it. And you could go to another YouTuber named Mud Fossils. He produces a great evidence for the fact that rocks could actually have biological properties to them and be living. And the science community has sat there and made fun of him because of it. Yet, the evidence is as clear as day. And we have, and what I've taught my kid is that you have to have an extreme open mind to, if somebody says this gentleman's shirt is red, if it's purple, if it's blue, then you have to sit there and wonder if it is or not. Does he think his shirt is orange and it's really that other color? And that's the problem with what we're not doing, is the science community, the general science community, is not saying, what is this, away from everything we know, because these people know something else. And they refuse to look at it. They want to stay in their little bubble. And if you're not good enough for their bubble, go somewhere else. However, there's 1,000 bubbles we can all jump into. Why do we have to only stay with the one in the center of the room that everybody says is the biggest? You could be in a little bubble with few 5, 10 people, and you guys still be right.
Well, science all is about is proving your theories.
Not in the science community. We went right now to the Smithsonian and said, I have a picture of a ghost and a dinosaur right there in my backyard. They would laugh at us and tell us dinosaurs are extinct and tell us to go away. But yet we could have a photo of a real dinosaur in our backyard.
Because science, everybody wants to try to disprove what they're seeing. There's a lot of it. I work in healthcare, and that's science, what I do. And it's all about like proving things being, proving to work, proving to, help a patient, for an example, with what I do. But with us, it's like we actually have to have solid evidence before they're going to be like, hey, now you're going to get respect.
Exactly.
But that's the part that also needs to change, is they want something put in their face, or they won't nudge a bit.
And
It's holding back so many things. It's holding back so many people, and it's hurting everything.
But here's the question, guys. Have not everybody that's sitting on that table have done what you just asked? That scientific proof. I think everybody at that table has done that. Archaeologists have proved that this earth has been here a lot longer than what the basic historians are saying. Exactly. Civilizations have been here a lot longer. So these guys are actually proving their point of what, and the scientific community has actually embraced them and said, okay, we see your point. We're going to go ahead and bring you in. Now, as far as us, I don't think we are unified enough and have somebody out there that can represent us as one family to even do that. Archaeologists, if you know any archaeologists, constantly communicating with one, they've always come to an agreement on one thing. There's never been multiple disagreements on this, that, this. So when everybody got together and proved that point, it was one unified front. With us, I don't even think that we can have that.
I feel like if we all just came together and put our ideas together as a paranormal community, we could probably all come up with good, solid evidence to prove this. We're just going to have to keep on, we got to just keep on working at it. I think we get better and better evidence as we go.
I think so, because right now, whether I like it or you guys like it, or any of 20 other billion paranormal investigators out here in the world, the scientific community look at us as the laughing stock of the science.
Yeah, we're like the underdogs.
Yeah.
Yes. And to me, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it, because so many people have brought so much undisputable evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And we get them knocked down at the door every single time.
I think sometimes that goes back to if these people in the scientific community have actually experienced the phenomena that are out there.
Yeah.
Too.
Exactly.
I think once somebody actually has an experience, it's like, oh wow, they're not wrong.
But you know what's so crazy? The biggest church in the world, the Catholic Church, actually said there's something to this.
Mm-hmm. Well, with us being like mediums, I had to explain one time to someone. They're like, "Oh my gosh, don't do that. That's you're tapping into the devil's work, or whatever you want to call it." And I said, have you ever opened the Bible and looked at the book of Daniel and prophecy? I said, kind of like that. You know, I said, go back and look at the book of Daniel. I
Right
said,
back at them.
Yep. So I try to throw it back at them and say, you know, this is in history and different religions showing that there is prophecy. So
Yep.
Well, it's also on a fact that these people don't want to lose their jobs, their livelihoods, money's put into it.
Yeah.
And you brought up a good point about archaeology. How much of archaeologists have had to go back and change textbooks that have been printed in the billions because they got the Sphinx wrong? They got pyramids wrong. When I was a kid, oh, pyramids were, this. Now it's, how much of math has been done and histories.
Technology excel and it lets us do.
Yeah, but these people don't want to lose their jobs.
I know that, but people's theories change and they shift.
That's yeah, but if you're in one field and I come in and say, oh no, your work is not void. There's no need for you anymore. The ghost exists. There's no need for this study anymore. When really there is, because your field covers more. You'll be like, oh, don't come in here. Don't say that. I don't want to lose my job at the university. I don't want to lose my job in the field.
Well,
I know that.
You get an archaeologist. That's a cool point too. You got to look at the pyramids and stuff. There's got to be a lot of spirituality linked to that when you read anything in history about. So we get an archaeologist, and then you get our spiritual investigating that we're looking at. You could end up having it kind of overlap.
Think about all the thousands of people that died making those pyramids.
Yeah,
and that's amazing. Exactly. How they did that all that long ago.
Well, cancer is another field. If we cure cancer, there's people would say, well, if you cure cancer, all those people will be out of a job. They're nurses. No. They can go anywhere else in the hospital and work.
No.
There's
always going to be a need for healthcare.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's people that don't want to lose their jobs. I can see where that's possible, but I can also see, hey, he said we're at the door. Let us come in and show you just for 5 minutes of what we can do and how you're not going to be replaced. You're not going to lose you might even make more money now that we found this out. You might be making more money on our findings.
Yeah. Got a point there. All right, guys. Man, tell me a little bit about your community. How do they react to you guys when you guys out in your community just hanging out? You got your shirt on and you're mingling among the community. How does your community feel about that?
It's a lot. It's accepted because we'll go to a restaurant and people will be like, "Oh, well, cool, you're a paranormal team." They'll all come around us, ask us questions, and
I mean, we get the opposite. I mean, I've gotten a lot of people like, "Why would you do this?" Like, you get somebody that whether they be Jehovah's Witness or
I'll pray for your soul, like
whatever. They'll ask why because they don't believe.
Yeah, they don't believe in it,
but. You take the good with the bad, and I try to find out what their theories are, and I tell them mine. I kind of feel empowered to find out what their beliefs are and why they think that we're wrong.
But we all I'm sorry, I didn't mean
no, go ahead.
We all respect everybody else's beliefs, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. They should respect ours, and then we respect theirs, and everybody respects each other.
And we just have to, with your scientific community, we just have to keep on respecting them, and eventually they're going to respect us at some point.
Out in the community, I've noticed that if they are scientists, like the person at the college we met, they were very open to paranormal investigations. They wanted to know what it was all about.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you got them out of their college office and off campus, they loved hearing about
it. And you're absolutely right, on that aspect, because there's always that possibility of someone accepting for who you are. But once they put that suit and tie on, everything changes. Their philosophy changes. Everything changes about the way they view you, the way they view the the paranormal, but it seems like there's a double standard there. Okay, so you don't respect me when you got the suit and tie on, but you respect me when you're sitting at the bar with a beer in your hand and you got flip flops on, and we're dealing with the same people. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
yeah,
that's in any field. I mean, you don't respect the firemen until you see them going into a blazing building, when really you should respect every volunteer fireman out there and at all times. But a lot of times when we're out and we hear people's stories, the fun part is just is how their stories and helping them, and
listening to them.
people have come up to us and said, I haven't found any other person that wants to listen to me, and they think it's the weirdest thing on earth. It's happening to them.
The term goes,
And we're like, sure.
I don't want you to think I'm crazy, but
Yeah.
you go,
Well,
I always love that
we're
phrase.
we don't think you're crazy though. We believe you.
yeah. That word "crazy" is a new norm for me.
Yep.
Yep.
I hear it so much, and I'm like, dude, you're not crazy, man. You just, tell me what's going on.
I'm
You know-
beginning to think the normal person is the new mental illness if you're normal.
There is no definition of normal anymore, though.
No,
Look at it.
Well,
Are you serious?
well,
Yeah,
we're taught by our parents to be normal.
Yeah, normal is boring.
I'm being with you with these generation of kids today.
Mhm.
You can throw everything out the box because ain't nothing ever is going to be the way it used to be.
We need to bring it back.
Yeah, right.
Well,
And
I know my she's brought in some older ideas that she wants to try. Like she wants to sit and do, what is it, automatic. She does like automatic writing, but she'll do the drawing and techniques and stuff. So she's really tapping into some of the more classic things
Estes
that we
method.
used to do. Estes method as well.
Is that the blindfold method? That now?
Yeah, we
Blindfold,
we were going to try the
noise
last one,
cancellation.
but we didn't do
Oh,
it.
she wants to get into doing a lot of these older techniques. And I'm all for her trying that stuff because then at least she knows.
And Phil wants to have a video camera on everything,
Yeah.
even if nothing's happening. That
Yeah.
was a huge thing. You go in there with a big VCR camera, put the tape in, and you record everything, and then sit there and watch 5 hours of nothing but you setting up and taking down and walking around.
That's the part of it.
Oh,
But
no.
that's like stuff.
Dude, I have not seen a video recorder like that in 30 freaking years.
Well,
I
if you,
still have one.
well, now I will take a picture of the one in my storage unit, and we will put it up on our website so you can
my
bring back good memories. It's a news camera that's about 2 feet wide and about 7 inches
I don't
high,
have one that big.
and
Oh,
it
my.
has like 4 wires
Oh, one of
plugged into
those
it.
things.
Oh my god.
30 years either, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew the media was coming down the street because they had to carry the thing on a tripod in the back of a pickup truck to get it anywhere. Now you don't know they're there because they're videotaping on their phone.
Oh man. Hey, so funny. People
Okay, ask him. He stands right here. Here's a debate. Should your phone be used for recording and visual
I'm not
evidence?
saying that it can't.
Mm.
It's a touchy. I prefer cameras. I prefer the traditional methods using cameras and recorders.
You can set up your little P studio all you want with your cameras. I like the phone. It's right here in my hand. I can whip it out. Oh,
If
look
it's
what I caught.
But if it's a fast thing, yes, I support that. If you're using it, I just like to use traditional paranormal equipment. I'm sorry, but I'm good. I have 3 professional photographers in my family. I know how to take pictures.
Oh, well, here's something the new generation should do when they start this field. We should have them take a roll of film that they take pictures with, pull it out of the camera and throw it on the floor, and make them go in a dark room and save as many pictures as they can. And then if they do that well, then they can have their own camera.
Okay, never mind.
A cell phone, let's put them with a phone on the wire so they can go around the house and watch it come out of the wall, and you got to screw it back in the wall. Now you can have your cell phone since you use the cord.
You're just doing
the
this.
phone.
Oh my god.
I like mixing all of our ideas and techniques together because I think
that's what
really unites us in this group.
We might be arguing a little bit, but we do a good job.
This is just
Yeah, this-
I
like
told my kid when she gets her big flat screen TV, she's gonna put coat hanger in there to
You
get
know
her
what?
channels because I'm not paying.
this
for it.
too is just the old married couple here. They bicker back and forth.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. I'm just kidding. The new generation might think there's wrong stuff going on here.
Oh shit, that is so
Yeah,
funny.
nothing weird going on, but
You know,
Guys, why
That's how
do
we
you
have
think
when some of the kids think they're binary universal Earth creatures, yeah,
It's your
yeah.
daughter. That's not nothing to do with me.
we've definitely got a different generation that is for sure out there.
Yeah,
But I
it's
like our
definitely-
eclectic mix of our.
And what do you think, Megan?
Yeah, you haven't talked
You
enough.
barely even talk.
Okay,
They've been talking.
she's in the hot seat now.
She's been laughing though. I give her that. We've been laughing together on this whole since the show started.
I think it's good to combine older things and newer things and see, you might get something on a cell phone that you couldn't pick up with a camera or vice versa.
Exactly.
So I think it's good to combine them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't either. But
I think audio should be the older way, a cassette tape, maybe.
But I think that that's
thing.
a good way.
Yeah.
Audio,
I
for
just found
sure.
I get better evidence with traditional equipment.
Yeah.
I do.
I think it's a lot of preference too, but I think we still end up getting good results either way, to be honest.
And I think some of the ways we do it now with cell phone is why we have so much that looks fishy.
Yeah.
Because you're going to
True.
show me, like we were talking about Bigfoot when we first started, we're going to show me a blurry picture of something walking in the woods from your phone. When if you had a camera set up and you did it properly, we could tell that could be a dolphin running through the woods for all we know. And now it's just a big blur running through that's Bigfoot. Wait a minute. I don't know what it is. Let's take time to figure out what it is before I ever show it to anybody. And I think that's another. This generation wants to have the fame right now.
I think the difference between you two is classic versus new. Both of them work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really trust me. Both of them work.
Yeah.
The only difference is the cell phone compared to the camera is, with the camera it's a little bit more work. You go into a little bit more details. With the cell phone, it's everything's right then and now.
Exactly.
Everything's right then and now. So especially if you're going live with it, what you see is what 13 million other people see.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. Now, if you're with the cell phone, you take the imagination out. With the camera, you bring the imagination in because you actually taking the time to review it and you actually put it out there and you let the world decide on what they think this is.
Exactly.
Now, like I say, with the cell phone, it's right then and now. Now, I don't know if you're going to get that type of response that you do with the cell phone, with the camera, because once the laptop, you put the SIM card, you're able to go in and blow things up, you're able to edit, and that's what I like about the camera is you get to go in and see things for yourself and you be able to determine if it's a thumb up or thumb down, like versus to the cell phone, like I'm saying, everything is spontaneous. So you don't have that opportunity to going back and actually, reviewing this thing and seeing what it is. Now, somebody can troll you, they can go back and record your stuff, then you can do it like that. But there's nothing like going through the whole process and, going through that and actually looking and actually catching something and like, oh, wow, what do y'all, something like that, I think that's pretty cool. But either way, guys, I do both. But I only go live for like 15 to 20 minutes because I want people to be curious about my videos. When I put on YouTube and so on and so on. I just want that people. I want my followers to be curious on what I'm putting out there. So if I go YouTube, if I go live, 15, 20 minutes at the most. And I always tell them, guys, if you guys want to continue with the show, check it out on YouTube, and whatever we catch, please leave a comment below, and we'll see what we can do. If there's anything that you can see, we'll blow it up, and we'll put it back out there. But yeah, I mean, I've done both, so I kind of see what you guys are drinking a beer about. All right, guys, couple more questions. I'm gonna get you guys out of here. Now, this is a universal question, and I want each one of you guys to give me what you think about it. And why do you think most paranormal investigators, and he was just talking about this, why do you think most paranormal investigators don't think outside the box? Why do you think there are so many in the box where it's just getting congested? But yet, the people that are outside of the box are thriving. They are getting their whatever they need to do, they're getting it because it's not so hectic inside that box. You got so many people inside that box. They are investigating the same way. They're using the same equipment, and they're saying the same words when they communicate. And we all know that English language has millions of words that we can use to communicate with someone on the other side. It can't be always, can you touch that ball? What's your name? When you died? How old are you? We got to think outside the box, guys, when we talk to these people. Because I'm telling you, the spirits that you guys communicate with, they're thinking outside the box also.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They are thinking outside the box. And as far as equipment, dude, paranormal equipment is $1 billion a year industry, whether it works or not.
Yep.
People are doing it. And and to me, if you're going to have some equipment that's going to intrigue me as a spirit. I don't want to see the same old because my reaction is going to be the same. If I see that ghost ball, if somebody mention ghost ball to me one more time, I'm gonna throw that some bitch down the field. It's gonna be gone. So you never see that ghost ball again. You know what I'm saying? So we have to start thinking outside of the box. There are too many people in there, and the world is too big for everybody to be so stuck. You know what I'm saying? It has to be. Just like but you know what gets me is everybody has merchandise. Everybody's merchandise is different.
Mm-hmm.
Why come paranormal devices can't be the same way? Why come do you think we need to go to, dude, some of the best stores have paranormal investigation equipment, and nobody even bothers to go buy it. Dude,
Harbor Freight.
I was at Five Below today. Dude, Five Below has more LEDs, motion lights, or motion rods.
Oh yeah.
Dude, what? I don't understand it. Okay, so a cat ball. What is a cat ball? It's a motion ball. What is a a motion rod. It's a rod that if you touch it, same thing. One's
Yep.
small, other one's long, and but it's a rod.
Did you check out the cars they got now?
No, I didn't
They
know
have
what
little cars that kids touch and they go by themselves, and you just put your hand lightly on it and it goes and does stuff. That's a perfect trigger object.
perfect. And dude, I don't know if there's a Toys R Us anywhere in the world now, but Toys R Us was a paranormal investigating. It was a hot spot because everything that was motion detected, you can buy, and you can use it for
Yep.
for paranormal investigating.
I don't know how old you are, but I remember KB Toy Store in the mall. All those
I
gadgets out
remember
in
that.
front of the KB Toy
Oh, yeah.
Store.
I remember that in the mall. Yeah, definitely.
What about Radio Shack? They ain't got one of those either. You can make your own stuff.
Yep. And what about Simon Says? People don't look at the Simon Says game as a paranormal device.
Oh yeah.
They have one.
It's so
There is
cool.
a company. There is a paranormal company out there that made a Simon Says thing, and they charged $250 for the thing. You could buy it at Walmart. A Simon Says keychain for like $2.
Yeah, but
And people will pay $250 for this thing and say it's the greatest thing in the world when it's the same thing as the Simon Says key.
oh, one of those. Oh, I know.
You just touch it, and you know the light thing where you got
Yeah,
so mad you
yeah.
smashed it
Oh,
against the
Simon,
wall.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys didn't throw
I
yourself
hit a
against the
Simon
wall.
Says.
No, no.
I didn't do
Oh,
that.
dude, if you just Simon Says, you beep, 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 then you communicate and ask the spirits, can they do the same? Then beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, dude.
I know. We should try that.
And you could use it anywhere. Like you said, a new technique. We'll throw our equipment across the field and make the ghost bring it back to us.
No,
We'll
let's-
put the Simon thing across the field and
Let's
tell it
try
to touch
it,
it by what we do on this end.
Wait, let's try that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Never
And,
thought about it.
I don't even know if they make it anymore.
I think they do.
I'm sure they do. Some
and
sort.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they might still make Simon Says.
I make all those classic toys though. I've seen them in the special stores. I've seen like classic Slinkies, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure they make them. They have to be.
Well, you know where you might find something that would be like a Cracker Barrel, those old
dude.
plastic
Target.
toys. You might.
Target has it.
Oh, okay.
I've seen them in
I
Target.
haven't seen it there,
I swear to God, I've seen it in Target.
but a
Yeah,
lot of
Target might have it. Guys,
Well, we used to use a Yahtzee thing. We filled it up with rocks and would tell the spirit to roll it across the floor.
or better yet, the simplest device I have, it only cost me $2. It's just a regular old desk bell. Just a regular desk bell. When you go up at the hotel and nobody at the desk, bing.
Yep. It's easy
I was
for,
never allowed to
spirits
do
in
that.
too.
I was never allowed to do that. I'd just keep ringing them and ringing them and ringing them until
Well,
they
that's
took
you.
away.
You were that kid, huh?
Yep.
Did you eat paint chips when you were a kid?
Yes,
I'm sorry, I had to say that.
I did. You're not supposed to?
No, not really, but it is what it is.
I used to chew on electric fences too.
Yeah, I don't think I do that, but hey.
I don't think I'll do that either.
Yeah, I'm good. I got backed into one working with horses when I was younger. Yo!
All right, guys, 2 more questions, and I'm gonna get you guys out of here for the evening.
All right.
The first question is, what are the 3 do's? Wait, what are the 3 do nots that are in the paranormal not to do handbook? What are the first 3?
Provoke them?
Don't provoke them.
You don't want to provoke.
No, that's like number 5. What are the first 3?
Never tell a client they're wrong.
No, that's number 6.
That's number 6. That should be the first one. And never tell a client they're wrong. Always listen to them
Always
and
ask-
know that whatever they experience.
Always ask permission.
That's a good one.
That's in the top 10, but it's not the top 3.
Never fake evidence.
Well, that is actually probably the number 1, isn't it?
No.
No.
The first 3 actually the first 3 actually it's about
Are you asking what they actually are or what we think they are?
yeah, what you think. I know what they are, what you think they are.
No, I meant like what we would consider them to be, or was there an actual list?
There's a list. I'm just asking what
Oh,
you
there's
guys
an actual list.
I'm
I didn't
asking-
know there was a list.
I'm just trying to figure out what you guys might think they are.
Huh.
We're talking spiritual wise. When we're in a room, you always want to be respectful and let the spirits know that you're there to communicate with them. You're not there to disturb
I
them.
was gonna say that next.
That's how I begin something. I'm not here to hurt you
That's number
or
4.
affect you. Okay,
That's
well,
number-
I'm getting closer.
Never tell your wife no if she says not to go on an investigation. You're
serious.
supposed to say okay and reschedule it.
That's the beatdown. Hey, I'm not being involved in that one, you know.
He's like, I'm not touching that one.
Always make sure I have food and drink at the investigation. That would be one.
Like number 15.
No.
Number 50.
If you want to bring, hey, if you want to bring snacks, who am I
For
to say?
anything.
My
I'll
mind's
eat up.
blank.
Always energize yourself in a positive
He's
way
being
so you're not.
serious.
Yeah, always energize yourself in a positive way so you're not harmed.
Okay, actually, guys, the first 3 is something of a health concern for individuals. Number 1 is never, ever buy anything from an estate sale. Don't
Oh,
buy.
God, yeah.
Don't buy anything.
I didn't know that one.
Goodwill.
Never do what?
That's just common sense.
No. Let me finish.
Oh, I'm
Let
sorry.
me. Number 3 is never buy. I mean, number 2 is don't buy anything from Salvation Army. Number 3 is never buy anything from a what are those stores called? Like an antique store. Can y'all tell me why not to buy anything from these places?
Haunted object.
Haunted objects.
Well, I would probably be the worst person to tell those rules to, seeing as I collect haunted objects.
Yeah, he does. I have
Well,
a few of my own.
Well, then you should know. If somebody is buying something and they don't know what they're buying, or they don't know the history of it, but they love it, they're going to buy it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, you got a table floating across the floor. Why? You just purchased something that you
Has an
shouldn't have.
attachment. But
Well, if that's the case, you could do that at Walmart. You could have bought something that somebody took home and returned, and you wouldn't know the difference.
No.
No.
something that's got a rich
It's
history.
a little bit different. Now, we all know if you was to go to an estate sale, we know what's happening there. Somebody passed and you got to get rid of everything. Now, at a Goodwill, somebody could have got murdered in that damn dress that you bought. You never would know.
Nope. True.
Well, that's a risk you have to take buying from those stores.
But-
That's the whole object of the store is somebody gives for somebody it doesn't have.
Yeah, but we don't do that. For the simple fact is they are great risk in doing stuff like that.
I do.
I don't. That's common sense for me. I would never do something
Yeah,
like
and
that.
if you do buy stuff from there, you need to cleanse it.
I used to work for a thrift store.
I mean, can you imagine going to an antique store and buying something? Antique stores are one of the weirdest stores you can ever. I would never buy anything from an antique store because you don't know what you're getting.
No,
Nope,
that's
and
true. That is true.
When you walk in there, I know I feel energy when you walk into an antique store.
I always
You
do
feel the
too.
energies off of it.
Dude, if you walk into an antique store and you get hit upside your head with a serious migraine, the best thing to do is walk out.
Uh-huh.
Yep, that's what I do.
You are absolutely right.
Now, when you go into an estate sale, and most of the time, either it would be outside or it would be inside the house. You also can feel that energy.
Mhm.
Turn around and walk out.
So let me take a guess at number 3. Never buy from an auction store that's trying to get rid of their leftovers.
Well, I just told you. I just told you 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You weren't paying attention.
So why? So how do we not buy from these stores and not want to help the? I mean, the Salvation Army uses that money to help people.
Well, that's fine, but if you're willing to take that chance, as paranormal investigators, we know what to do and what not to do. We know what signs are when you're in an estate. A lot of people don't know what estate. They know that estate sales. They know something happened.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Yeah.
let's think logically here. If you was to go to an estate sale, and if you wasn't a paranormal investigator, and you didn't know anything about what we do, of course you're gonna go up there and buy. Hey man, give me that light. I'll buy that. I'll buy that chair right there. You don't look at the risk. But as a paranormal investigator, you think about the risk that you're about to take when you go purchase that lazy boy. That was my favorite lazy boy. So where that lazy boy go, I'm gonna go with it because that's something I did every Saturday and Sunday when I was watching TV.
So what's 4 and 5? I'm wondering now.
Oh, that's something you're gonna have to figure out on your own, my friend. So, what do you guys think about 1, 2, and 3? Do you agree or disagree with that?
I would disagree to the point, but it's more on you're supporting the need that the store is going. But I can see the point
But
about if
here's
you go
the
in there and
thing.
buy a doll and the thing has an evil attachment to it, you could get very seriously messed up from that. That could mess up your life.
Exactly. So these people that are you have to look at the big picture when you dealing with stuff like from Goodwill and stuff like that. People can go to estate sales and notice that this object has an attachment. So what is the first thing that they're gonna do? Logic would say, I'm gonna drop this off at Goodwill.
Yeah, basically, it's not my problem. It's somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys see how everything filters
Yeah.
down.
It's like a chain reaction.
It's like a
Yeah.
chain reaction. So why not just not indulge in any of that to save everybody?
I could see that.
I don't know.
I kind of agree with it.
But
Yeah.
what happens if you got it and you cleansed it? I
Well,
mean,
that's a
what if-
different story. But we're talking about everyday people that
Yeah,
have
that
don't
don't
do
even.
it. They have no idea what's going to happen to them.
that
Well, I
have
think
no
that
knowledge
we just
of
found
any
a
of
new
it.
thing to do for people. Bless objects that they buy at thrift stores for them.
You can do it.
My daughter brought something home from one of those like antique type places. They went antiquing with a friend, and she goes, I don't know why I'm hearing all these weird noises in my room now. I'm like, what did you bring home this time?
Well,
You know?
Well, what about eBay?
I got a friend.
And I had to cleanse it and try to calm it down because she was just
My friend's
Well,
family. My friend's
the thing
family
is-
owns an antique store, and every time I walk, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Every time I
No, go
walk
ahead.
into that place, it's like a frenzy for me. I'm like, I feel something every time.
because you're gonna feel that spirit with those
Yeah.
spirits that are attached.
I
to
can
those
take you to
objects.
2 stores here. That's the fun of walking in there. You feel these weird feelings, and it's
Yeah.
what's that attached, and
Yeah,
what's that got?
That's because it's like a paranormal frenzy for all of us that are investigate. We're like, ooh,
So, okay,
what's this.
let's flip this. You said you bought something from eBay. Somebody could sell stuff on eBay and not know it's haunted
Exactly.
too.
Well, that's the same way as buying something from an estate sale. I mean, it's really eBay, estate sale. There's really not much of a difference. You know what I'm saying? Only difference is eBay's gonna ship it to you.
That's everything I get from everywhere because I didn't know if somebody brought it back or not.
Oh, well. May put it in my house.
But yeah, dude. My wife used to do that. Let's go to nope. Let's go nope.
That was fun with my ex. You'd go in there and spend $200 in a place,
Oh well. Anytime I spend $200, you messing with my beer money, and I just can't have that.
Yep.
Can't do it. All right, guys. One more question. Starting from the lady in the middle, and we're gonna work our way all the way around.
Okay.
Where would you like to go on your paranormal bucket list? Anywhere in the world.
Wow, that is a good one. I have a huge bucket list. One that I'd love to go to just because it intrigues me is the Winchester House in California, because it's just amazing how they say the rooms change and different things of that nature. It just intrigues me. It always has.
Megan.
Maybe it's a classic, but I kind of want to go to the Amityville Horror House. I've never gone. Didn't you say that you went?
No,
I've
Said that.
I've been there.
You've been there.
I've been to Amityville.
I lived in Long
I want
Island.
to check that out. I'm just very curious about it because I've watched the movies.
It's a private
I've read
residence
the
now.
book.
That's the problem.
I don't know who would want to live in something that.
No, not
That
so much
tragedy,
that.
but hey.
Wade.
I don't know because that's pretty much hit my bucket list. Probably somewhere in England or something. It's older than the United States. Somewhere that has rich haunted history beyond what we have here.
Like the old castles or something. along
Yeah,
those
something
lines.
that-
would be cool
Yeah, that would
too.
be-
Or even an old church, Notre Dame, or anywhere that has
Rich history.
Yeah.
even here, if you can find, Canada or anywhere, Japan, places that are older than the United States could ever be.
That
Oh,
would be
yeah.
cool.
I mean, even Africa, take me to the pyramids, take me to, I guess. I mean, I'm not much of an airplane traveler, so you're going to have to get me there by train somehow, but
Then there's me. My top list is Waverly Hills.
Yep, I
I've
definitely.
always
That's
wanted
on
it-
mine
it's-
too.
It's on the top of my list. I've always wanted to go there, and I hopefully someday I will get there.
we'll get there.
Oh, we will.
Okay. All right. Well, hey guys, tell the world how to get a hold of Twin Tears Supernatural Research Society.
www.twintiersparanormal.com. You can go on Facebook, type in our name. If you want to see our podcast, it's www.theparanormalworld.org. If you have anything, you can email us. You can always see our phone numbers. Which one do you want to give here?
Whichever one.
Give yours.
607-372-3758.
Okay.
You can call 607-238-3816, which we're working on to get back going. Probably through you. If anybody has a problem, they could probably, I don't want to leave. I always tell them the podcaster is the best bet. If they really have a problem, see you and you can recommend us.
Yep.
We're pretty open. We never really turn away any cases or anybody that calls us, no matter how weird they are.
We're open to doing joint investigations with other groups too.
And now we have a new skill that I think he gave us. Thank you. Of blessing people's thrift store items. That sounds like something intriguing. Now you want me to? Now I want to go back to that antique store and see if anything's haunted, so I can put it in my collection.
And our next
Oh,
investigation is going to be at the Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York.
Oh, wow. That'd be
Have
interesting.
some footage on that.
How much y'all come out of your pocket for that?
It's not that much.
Not really. I think it was what,
$350.
and that's for an overnight private.
Yep. And $50 for additional people. Up to 6 people, it's $350, and then $50 for each individual extra person.
It's
not bad.
Now, do they provide snacks and food and stuff?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, dude. I can do that.
Yep.
Very interesting.
If you're ever in the New York area and want to join us for anything, we'd love to have you come with us.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, if I was ever in the New York area and I wanted to investigate, there's 2 locations I would want to go.
Okay.
And the only reason why is because I've looked on YouTube and know that I've yet to see anybody investigate it. One is the New York City subways. I want to go at least 3 levels down. And I want to go visit the Island of the Dead in New York.
I know where that is. I've been
The
there.
Island of the Dead? What island is?
You can't go on it. I've been near it, but it's private.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have big time permission to go on that place.
Well, the subway system, I would probably bring bodyguards with you because I've heard some stories about that stuff.
Yeah, I have too. I lived in New York for about 2 years, so.
Well, if I can get past the Volkswagen size rats, I think I'll be all right.
Oh, they're bigger than that. And you got to get past the alligators, the snakes, and the other spiders and everything else down there, too.
Well, I think I better take my AR just in case.
Yep.
All right, guys. Man, tonight podcast has been very, very interesting. It's been really funny. I like to see you guys argue left and right.
Well, if you really like us, you can come up to our podcast and watch us argue about other topics.
Well, you know what? I think when are you guys podcasts?
Well, we've been putting it. We're not live per se, which I would like to get with you later on the network that you have here. I like it. The setup's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
A better setup than I've seen of others. We've been trying to air it every week on Mondays, and we normally do it on Saturdays. And we try to cover various topics of not the mainstream topics, unusual stuff.
Yeah.
We also try to educate, and we're trying to make more videos on education of equipment use and the proper ways of doing things, like you said, for the next generation or whoever's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We also we're going to try to have some guests come on.
I got a few lined up.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We would love to have you.
And we tried to make the podcast about an hour and a half. And we also tried to make it as interesting as we can.
2 hours. Depends.
Yeah. I've been I introduced him to podcasting or the entertainment end of this.
Yeah.
I've been podcasting for probably about 12 years. And the one thing I like about him as a co-host is he's almost like me. He wants to know more of the stuff. So me and him can have a logical conversation covering everything without all that, there's some topics like vampires, UFOs, and, Dogman and stuff that he laughs at.
Well,
but
UFOs,
I can see where somebody would kind of laugh at werewolves and stuff that have never, he's never seen anybody. It's a werewolf or a vampire, an abductee. But other than that, we're pretty much open to everything.
The one thing, ufology is, and I kid you guys not, ufology actually has a seat at the table.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So big topic, big discussion.
I got a little huge into the UFO scene when I was out in Missouri because a lot of people believe in that stuff out there.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like
Spook lights.
you could go anywhere and talk to somebody, and they would tell me a tale of something they've seen. And I've seen the spook lights, the Joplin spook lights. If you've ever heard of them, you have them in Texas as well. It's kind of like a Western thing.
Yeah, they're called the Marfa lights down here because they're in
Yeah.
Marfa.
Well, they might even be something different than the spook lights. They might be two different
And
fields.
we also have the Saratoga lights, which are in East Texas. Oh my God, dude, I don't even want to talk about East Texas. Hey, if
Yeah.
you guys, when y'all look at Texas on a map, that doesn't even how big it is. You guys have no idea, man. Just how big. I didn't even know how big Texas was until I went to East Texas. Now, believe it or not, guys, when I went to East Texas, I'm thinking I went to Houston because I was on my way to Louisiana, and hell, you're going east. You're going east. You know, you go Houston, you go Interstate 10, and Interstate 10 takes you into Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So you're driving east. Uh-uh. There's a part of Texas that is really east, and you're totally lost in time over there.
Were you in the desert part or the city parts?
The desert part is West Texas.
Yeah, it's West Texas. East
The-
Texas. Like
Well, there's a part of East Texas that they say is a dimensional rift. Like you can go back in time. It's some part of a weird ley line down there. They believe.
Oh, there's a lot of ley lines down there, you know. But yeah, East Texas is totally
You
lost.
ever get stories about Chupacabra down there or any of that stuff?
You know, man, that dude, I love hanging out with him, but he just can't get right for nothing. I mean, dude, let me tell you what happened last week. So we were chilling at the park. We had a barbecue. He started drinking that damn Tecate beer and just went on a rampage and just ate all the damn food up. And hell, I was really upset because I didn't get the damn chance to eat. You
Well,
know,
just do what I do. The minute you get there, you head for the food and don't stop.
well, you would think he's got enough common courtesy, man, to freaking share the food, man. Everybody pitched in.
you don't share food.
Well, I thought at a barbecue they make the food for me. That's why I came. They said to come and eat.
He is off the chain, man. He howls.
How
He
big was
has
this
no
guy?
respect. He has no respect for my damn neighbors when he come by.
How big was this guy? I stand 6'3", 319 pounds. I can eat at a barbecue. I can out eat him.
He sits on my damn back patio porch and howls at the damn moon. What the hell, man? This dude is out of control.
What kind of chupacabra do you have? A howls at the moon? That's a new one.
Oh, man, we got the South Texas chupacabras. Those guys are menacing. They are totally something else.
Now, all seriousness, do you ever get cases like that down there, or no? Do you ever
No,
get that?
no casing with that. Most of our case, it's mostly, man, uh, haunted locations that we go. Dude, and I'm being honest with you, Austin is so big.
Yeah.
Is that the only time we've ever left the city limits for an investigation is when we went to East Texas and we went up to Mineral Wells to investigate Fort Walters. But other than that, there's so much going on here that I really don't have to venture out. You know, there's maybe 3 other paranormal teams here. Most of them don't even Most of them like that high-end locations, where a million people, and I don't see that. Well, a million people have been. The Driscoll Hotel, dude, you're never going to get anything. That you can go investigate it if you want, but you're really not going to get anything out of that. As me, I do old nursing homes, old retirement centers, places where there's been death. So I kind of focus on places like that. I love a cemetery. Cemeteries down here is a little bit different from cemeteries up north. Uh, Cemeteries down here, they're old, they're ancient, and some of these cemeteries are really racist cemeteries. If you are a minority and you are a Caucasian and you go into a minority cemetery, it's a good chance you're going to get ran out. Because the first question that you'll probably catch on your EVP is, why are you here? I've had that so many times. These slave cemeteries or the historically black cemeteries, they don't play with that. If you are of color, they might let you in there, without showing their weary heads or their faces. But most of them will let you know, hey, you got to go. And they ran a friend of mine. They told a friend of mine that. They cleared his head on the EVP. Why is he here? And they were talking about Chad. Chad's a white guy. And I'm like, Chad, you need to leave, brother. When we went to go visit James Byrd, I don't know if you guys remember James Byrd. He got drugged by the Klan down here a couple years back. And East Texas, black cemetery on one side, white cemetery on the other side. It really has not changed much over there. The only time they get together and as a unified front is, guess what? On Friday Night Lights, when everybody's watching high school football. After that, they go their own ways.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, it is, East Texas ain't no joke. And I felt it. I felt it when I was eating dinner. Because like my team is really diverse. So I was sitting across a member, and these two guys walked through the door. Man, hell, they shook me down. They looked at me. They sat behind me, pulled their chairs around, and just stared the whole time. I couldn't see them because of my back, but the person that was sitting in front of me could see that.
That's horrible.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's crazy over there. It is crazy over there. But all right, guys. Hey, any last questions? Any last comments? Any last thing that you guys have to say before I get you guys out of here?
You guys got anything to say?
Well, I want to thank you for having us
Yeah,
on.
thank
It's
you.
been great.
That's one of the things.
No problem, man. I really enjoyed you guys come on the show, spend your Saturday with me. Let's do it again.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Just let us know.
Ever.
Let's do it again. I would love to have you guys back on the show. And this time, let's do more arguing. Hey, I love a good debate between two members. That is so funny. But guys, once again, thank you for the show. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to hang out after the stream ends, I can show you guys how to. If you really want to know how to get something like this started, where you're able to have all the different platforms and stuff, I can show you guys how to do that.
Yeah.
But if you guys, after I end the stream, hang around and I'll come back on and I'll show you guys how to do that. But with that said, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I'll be in Savannah, Georgia.
Nice.
Talking
Nice.
Georgia. So, guys, feel free to jump on, say hello, show the support, and all you guys that are on the platforms tonight. Hey, let's go over to their Facebook page and let's get these numbers up, man. They had 483 followers and 254 likes. Let's see if we can get these numbers up, guys. You know what I'm saying? Support, support, support. That's what it's all about. But in the meantime, hey, this is Terry with NSPSTV Paranormal. See you guys tomorrow night in the Lions Den. I almost forgot about that. In the meantime, peace, guys.
Later.